I've been working at Blists now on just over 10 years now. Best thing about my job is meeting people. It changes every couple of minutes, so you don't have time to get bored. I just like interacting with the people and seeing their faces, and I get a buzz out of when people are happy.
I have been here at Blists Hill for 2 years this November. I've been a blacksmith here for the full 2 years. I came here off the back of doing a degree in artistic blacksmithing at Hereford College of Arts and thoroughly enjoy it.
My job and place within Blists Hill Museum is I work within the stonemason's yard in the museum, and I am a professional stonemason. I've been a stonemason now up to date for about 32 years, that includes my apprenticeship, so a fair few years. And I started volunteering about 17 years ago just to bring the yard to life and operate and demonstrate my craft within the yard about 17 years ago. And for about the last 3 years I've been commissioned by the Worshipful Company of Stonemasons, who actually sponsor the yard, to deliver craft demonstrations.
My official job is a demonstrator at Coalport China Museum. Obviously our museum is closed, mainly due to the flooding in February, because we didn't quite get cleaned up for that, but then COVID affected that because it stopped it reopening really. So we've come up to Blists Hill to talk about Coalport China Museum and to tell people what we're doing really. There's a lot of people who come into here haven't ever been there.
1999 we first came here, so we've been here quite a while. We came here just for 6 weeks in the summer, and we've been here ever since. We normally do school lessons and sing in the pub.
I'm from the Black Country. I was brought up on industrial history. Loved industrial history all my life. I love social history, and I get the chance now. I never worked in that environment, and I wished I had, but I've got the chance now in the autumn of my years to actually play on big steam engines, and you see the actual nuts and bolts of how it works, no pun intended, but how everything worked, and it puts you in the mind of the people from 100, 200 years ago. Yeah, it's like Christmas for me. I really do like the people, and I like the environment, and it's not a bad place to work.
What I do usually, I'm down at Squatter's Cottage. I love being down there because it reminds me of, I think my auntie used to live in a house like that, my mum always said. So I just feel the part when I'm down there. I'm a bit out of my depth here up the top because I can't count, see, so I can't do the money.
For us, or for me as a blacksmith, my biggest want is to get students involved into the programme of what I do, but into the heritage side of ironwork. So having done the degree over at Hereford, it was the best 3 years of my blacksmithing career so far, and it's something that has changed me from what was a mediocre blacksmith to something that I now make my sole income. But as a university point of view, it's very hard to put across how hard it is to make it within the blacksmithing sphere. So what I try and do is open up the workshop to students to give them a taste and flavour of what it's like to be in a working workshop and making your money. So my biggest aim is to get as many of the Herefordshire Ambles, or Hereford Ambles as they're known, into the workshop as possible, so that they can have a go at demonstrating their craft and their skills. It's very different here compared to working at university. So yeah, being able to work with like-minded blacksmiths is a massive part to why I'm here.
I'm Lee Valentine, I'm part of the Herefordshire Anvils. I've been invited out here today to get a bit of a feel of the sort of real working environment in a forge. I'm currently about to start my 3rd year at Hereford College of Arts, and here to try it out and see what life is like on the other side of education. My intention is in the future to become a practicing blacksmith, where that is my sole income. I don't really want to have a real job again, because this is much more fun.
The apprenticeship scheme here at Blists Hill is a year-long one. We started last October, so we've been here about half the time now. Done blacksmithing, foundry work, boiler work, the maintenance side, stripping the boilers, rebuilding the boilers, just to get a feel of the whole area and what we need to do in the whole engineering side of it as well.
I mostly enjoy the fact that it's hands-on, because it's all the old school way of doing it. There's no machines that do everything for you.
We're encompassed in history. I mean, my own craft is an ancient craft. It's been around for a long time. A medieval stonemason could pick up my chisels and be quite at home and really familiar with the chisels. So this environment for me it's perfect, and I just enjoy it, and I love the museum. It's a brilliant place to be.
Well, I'm one of the on-site actors. One of my characters is Patrick Appleby, who's the Irish gypsy. What I do is I use rug making as a means of drawing people to me and talking about, say, making rugs. They could be made from nothing. It was just an old sack, an old potato sack, old clothes cut up, and you know, and half a dolly peg, you know, as that's the tool.
It's just learning all the skills really, because I have no background in ceramics whatsoever or clay. I was a civil servant for 27 years and got made redundant. Then I started working for the museum the week after I left, there on the front of house first, selling the tickets and things. I've worked for the museum for 5 seasons now, but I've been doing this job for about 3 years really, and it's a marvellous, I love it, absolutely love it.
When I was training, you've got a fair bit of tolerance about how low you can get this thing, because it's capped to 50 feet. I think that's at, what, 15 metres in old money, in new money. And I put it in the wrong, and it happens to all of us, not just me. I put it in the wrong sort of drive, and I was driving it quite quickly down to the bottom, and I sort of went, what's happening? And you haven't got that long to think about it, but I managed to just sort of take it out of drive and stop it. But it was quite embarrassing really, because there were members of the public there. But I turned it round.
The worst experience I had here was, I think, October time of last year. I was doing a demonstration for punching hammer eyes by hand, and yeah, I was punching a hammer, and the sledgehammer that I was using shifted on the handle, and as it shifted, it clocked me in the back of the head. It hurt, but I didn't realise I'd done it, and I thought it was sweat pouring down the back of my head and down my neck because I was working hard, and it didn't turn out too great, because as I looked up, there was a fair few pasty-looking people saying they felt quite sick and that I should go and get checked out because there was blood pouring down the side of my head. And yeah, it turned out that I cracked my head open. Yeah, off work for, I think, for a week, while the glue was setting and the head was mending. But yeah, that wasn't a very good day.
Well, pre-COVID, I was a stand-up comedian, touring around the pubs and clubs all over the country, trying to make people laugh. I quite like that as well, entertaining people and making them laugh. It's a good feeling. Daft joke. A bloke walks into a library and goes, "Can I have some fish and chips, please?" And the woman says, "This is a library." And he goes, "Shh, okay, can I have some fish and chips, please?"